So through that presence, you get to open up, be more aware of everything that's going on. Drop any masks. I know you were speaking of a different mask before, but drop any masks you might have and get real in the moment. And that's when we can always have the best breakthroughs. Hello and welcome back to the World Beyond Resilience podcast. I'm Angela Philp.
And I'm Carolyn Gibson. And today we're going to be talking about purpose, power, and presence.
Or maybe we're going to be talking about presence, power, and purpose. What do you think?
Well, does it matter which order we talk about it in? I guess that's the question.
Well, it's a really interesting question as well. And my sense is that notwithstanding definitions of power, which are very much based on currently coercive power, which comes from a sense of I'm the boss. I have status, I'm the boss. Moving away from that, I think true power, connecting with our inner power, comes from the quality of presence that we bring and our capacity to be present.
So you're saying that in order to have any sense of power, purpose, you first have to connect with yourself.
Oh, totally. And presence is very much about bringing your attention back to yourself, but not bringing your attention back to yourself from, oh my gosh, what do they think about me? Or, oh, what if I get this wrong? Not that sort of attention. And again, not the attention about me, but really bringing your attention to what am I noticing that's going on around me through what's going on inside me. So it's having a different filter for your own emotions and your own sensations. It's not just limited to emotions. And from there being present to more of what's happening in any given environment that you're in, including yourself.
Well, I had a example of this when we were working together. I was running these hugely important executive board meetings, and I remember the first one where we were in person after COVID. I actually was running late. I'd had a call, really urgent call that I had to sort out before the meeting. I was, sort of rushed into the room, and then for some reason that I wasn't grounded. I wasn't connected. And the first thing I thought was, well, I'm wearing a mask and nobody else is wearing a mask. Oh, what am I supposed to do about that? What do they think of me? I'm trying to get back into the conversation, and I made a comment and somebody challenged me, and I was like, oh, did I say the wrong thing? And all went straight into my head, and I just couldn't settle myself down for the whole meeting. And we had a conversation about it, and I went back into the next meeting, completely taking a break, put everything that had gone before at the door, and just sat there and go, okay, I'm here, nothing that matters, and what is it that's going to get me into the room? And we talked about what's going to trick me into believing that I'm present in a way, which is my curiosity, because I have a natural curiosity, and I just had a totally different experience, very, very grounded. Still not probably the sense that you're talking about, Angela, which is really feeling the room through my body and not my head, because I'm really always in my head, and I'm still working on that.
I think that your curiosity, what you spoke about, is really important, and it's simply bringing curiosity to more things. And it's, again, like you said, not just I'm curious, what are they going to think of me, which isn't real curiosity. It's fear. It's fear speaking. And so to get out of fear, we've really got to look at just, again, coming back into ourselves and recognizing that we experience life as an inside out process. So the more aware we can be, so that presence is also developing I guess another way to say it is developing our self-awareness and awareness of the whole situation. And it's not easy to get into, you're right. So your curiosity is a great way to be able to get into that. First of all, what works for you to make you to help you come back to presence? I mean, I know when I speak about presence, sometimes it feels very solemn, and it doesn't have to be solemn at all. For myself, I feel solemn as I write. I'm going to sit up straight and I'm going to meditate. And I do know what helps me be present and bring myself back to presence is, however, something physical, because I'm very tactile. And if I go into curiosity first, it will normally be very much a head exercise. So my first trick is to actually feel my clothing on my body, just know, or feel the air conditioning on my cheek. And that brings me back into the here and now. And that's really where presence is. It's in the here and now. And that's where you have access to more information. And that's what gives you the capacity to respond rather than react.
Yeah. And the key to that is, of course, letting go of any fear that you might have in the present, isn't it? And the way you do that is to ground yourself, as you said.
Yeah.
You know, I use breathing techniques, and but if you're in a fear mindset, you're always going to be in reaction mode. Whereas if you lose the fear and go into something else, curiosity, love, whatever is part of your kind of inner mechanism, your ability to, as you said, not only be aware of yourself, but be aware of what's going on in the room, is totally increased and improved, isn't it? And gives you a different experience because you're more relaxed as well.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the relaxation that gives you the possibility of responding then in the moment.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that the reason I said also for the tactile part, and then we can give another example, is we have a saying in the work that I do called arms and legs. And breathing works for me in sometimes, for example, to be present. But the first point of that is actually recognizing, getting curious, how is my breathing?
Yeah.
So rather than going straight and say, I should do my breathing exercises, it's like, actually, how am I breathing? Oh, I notice my chest is a bit tight.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, depending on what's going on, what sort of situation I'm in, otherwise I can either practice breathing exercises, which I recommend, for everybody. And I know you've told me that works for you. Yeah. But if I'm already feeling a bit panicky, trying to breathe can be something for me that's actually sends out a distress signal. So what I end up doing is what my teachers have taught me, which is focus on your arms and legs. So because our thighs and in particular, and our biceps and triceps are places on the body that hold the least emotional charge.
Oh.
And shifting my focus to those parts, for example, allows me just to come back to myself again. And I don't have to even change conversation. What happens is you don't actually have to take yourself out of a room to do this, to focus on, to be more present. It's a simple shift of attention.
Yeah.
And I know we've spoken about this too. People will always wait for 3 seconds. They won't even notice really you've paused for 3 seconds while you focus on something else to help you, not make yourself be, but to help yourself be more present. Yeah. And when you start being more present, and then you get curious about, okay, so I'm feeling my arms and legs now, and God, my chest is tight. What's going on? It's like, okay, well, I'm feeling nervous. That's fine. Or it might be, well, I'm noticing Bob's checked out over there in this meeting. He's like looking at the ceiling, and Cecilia's fiddling on her phone, and is anybody really interested in my slides? And instead of making it about me, I might be right. I'm going to ditch the slides. Let's have the conversation about what needs to happen now. Through that presence, you get to open up, be more aware of everything that's going on. Drop any masks. I know you were speaking of a different mask before, but drop any masks you might have and get real in the moment. And that's when we can always have the best breakthroughs.
Yeah, so true. And, that leads us on to where we're going next. Well, where I go next, which is, if you feel more relaxed, if you feel more centered, you're going to project, be able to use more power in a positive way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you connected with your power.
Yeah. Yeah.
My sense is that it's false power that we have when we're not truly present. And the caveat I would say to that, and I still think it illustrates the point, is that story of my osteopath. He says, I don't get many sociopaths in here. And I'm like, why not? And he said, because they're coherent and aligned with what they're doing. And even if whatever they're doing is destructive for other people and causing a lot of angst and worry and anxiety, they are so aligned that their body's aligned as well. So they have very few pains other than if they've twisted their ankle or fallen off their bike or something. And that ties back to, they may not have presence in the moment, but they are congruent. And the congruence is what gives them a certain confidence, which has other people look up to them as power and being powerful, and it gives them power.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of power in the world that's very coercive and power over, and we still look up to what that, the confidence that's projected. And I assert that the confidence that's projected there is, I have the right to rule, and to heck with the rest of you. And so that instills confidence in people, but that's not the power that we really want to develop. And
No.
you will
Yeah.
have more power if you are more present.
Yes. Yes. And I think you're absolutely right there in pointing out. And a lot of women do struggle with this because you sometimes, because of our experiences, sometimes associate power with something that's negative, whereas we need to have more understanding of our power as, and I think you defined it as the quickest means of going from possibility to reality, right?
Yeah.
So if we think about that and we have all these possibilities before us, being able to be present, respond in the moment, not react, respond in the moment in the most appropriate way will allow us to get more of what we want to be done, right? And hopefully in the most positive way we can.
Yeah. And I think that's where being aligned with your values, so we don't have to fear power. We don't have to fear our own power. We don't have
Yeah.
to fear being powerful. Because if our values aren't simply to have status over and rule over, and our values are about inclusivity or collaboration or even healthy competition, because that's fun,
Yeah.
we can trust that being present will allow us to have the power to bring a possibility into a reality, in the
Yeah.
shortest
Yeah.
possible time, which I love that definition of power. And what that allows for is true creativity and true connection with your own essence. And when you're really connected with your own essence, you have so much power available to you.
Yes.
And it's generative and regenerative power that is the power the power to create, the power to move things forward, and it doesn't take away from anybody else's power.
No.
That leaves room for everybody else to be in their power as well.
Yeah. And if you look at that in that way, I was just thinking power, the power to create joy in the world, right? What a wonderful thing to reframe that sort of negative stereotype that some people have around power. But in order to do that, you also need alignment to your purpose, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that comes with actually bringing, funnily enough, that's where the sort of cycle meets itself again, or maybe it's more like a spiral, but you need, I think your purpose is always there. For me, true purpose is to live a fully expressed life. And I say that again, asserting that those who abuse power are not living a fully expressed life. They're living from fear. And that's not what I mean by a fully expressed life. A fully expressed life is to live the essence of who you are in all of its truth and magnitude and greatness and glory. And that doesn't come at the expense of other people. And so it does require some presence, however, to be able to get with, well, uncovering the depth of all of that and refining it and recognizing what your purpose looks like in this moment. How is it expressed in this moment, at this stage in your life? What does it look like at the next stage in your life when you're in that? And allowing yourself that constant renewal, but recognizing there'll be a red thread of purpose running through that. Yeah.
So being present allows you to move from your values and your essence into your power, and your purpose allows you to refine how you use that power.
Yeah, and refine, deepen, bring more dimension to,
Yeah.
feel more whole, and also I think from there really see the goodness of the impact
Yeah.
that you're having, and have that be positive reinforcement. And it's so important.
Absolutely. And I'm going to just bring it all back now because we have had this wonderful conversation around presence, power, and purpose. How does that relate in your mind to the world beyond resilience?
It's essential to the world beyond resilience, because If we're not in presence, power, and purpose, then we're in reactivity. The less present we are, the more reactive we are. The less we are connected with our purpose or holding of a purpose or recognizing it's there, the less we're in our power, the more reactive we are, the more we have to keep struggling, the more we try and fit in, the more expectations we have or we try not to have. And it's this juggling act permanently and always trying to overcome the next obstacle. Whereas even saying presence, power, purpose feels like the flow of the river to me. It has that flow to it, which is momentum and energy and directionality. And it's not just about trying to climb over the next rock. It's about going somewhere. I mean, that's where purpose and vision meet, is when you start divining a horizon that you want to get to, or what that will look like. And then you get to tap into the true creativity that is also, for me, power and powerful.
Yeah. And exactly what we're saying. We've gone through this whole series talking about, firstly, going from problem solving to creativity. So having this presence, power, and purpose as your anchor, going from struggle to effort, going from fear to joy. All of the things that we've been trying to work on this is kind of the bedrock underneath it all.
Totally. That's exactly. It's the bedrock of the river, the riverbed as well. And it can feel conceptual, but I'm willing to bet that for all of the listeners, if you have, really connected within a vision of something that you truly wanted, and that has you've shifted into allowing that to be your guide each time you were stuck, you found creative ways of getting there. You connected more with the presence within you to be able to do that. All those moments where you felt really present and you've all of a sudden something has flowed more generously or faster, or you just went, oh my gosh, yeah, that happened much more easily than I thought it was going to. We've all had those moments. So I know we're talking about the bigger thing, these three things, maybe in a more conceptual way, except for the couple of the examples that you've given. But I think we've all had moments of it. And it's important for us to acknowledge, recognize them, anchor them by writing them down, remembering them, and just noticing how they've built up in our lives and seeing the truth of it.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I hope all of our listeners have enjoyed this last one of our explorations of topics in this. And we have, I believe, one more wonderful guest on our list to share with you, and then it'll be near the end. So our series is nearly complete, and we're working on another one as we speak. So I look forward to continuing this journey with you all.
And thank you for listening in.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of the World Beyond Resilience podcast.
If anything you heard today sparked an aha moment or made you think differently about resilience, please tell us about it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.
And please share it with everyone you know.
For more episodes exploring how we can thrive beyond just bouncing back, follow our show on your favorite platforms.
And of course, we have additional resources and deeper dives into all the topics we discuss on our website, which is worldbeyondresilience.com.
So we absolutely love this topic, and we can see the possibility for this to create really powerful, vibrant, prosperous change in organizations and systems. So if this conversation interests you and you start to feel that spark as well, and you think it would be useful for yourself or within your organization, feel free to get in contact. So until next time, remember, there's a whole world of possibilities beyond just being resilient. Take care.